So, Carrie, can you tell us how you exactly use the Aqua Phi? I mean, beyond just water too, right?
Yes, well, it has a myriad of uses, really, and they keep on presenting themselves. So originally, it was to improve the taste and texture of water. And so ideally, what you would do is, so Aqua Phi comes in three different, well, actually comes in five different sizes, but really, I only make three sizes available to most, to the general public. Um, the other ones are smaller and they're for different ideas. Like this is the smaller one that I make, and that's great for sticking onto water bottles or that type of thing. And then there's a size even smaller than that with the same purpose. Um, so you can put it onto a water bottle or you put it onto the water pipe, so it's harmonizing the water that's coming out of the water pipe. So that's one of the things. So they do come in different sizes. So with the larger one, what we do is we have them in our refrigerator and in our cupboards as well. And so all of our food goes on to one of these, even though we eat all organic food, we still put it on to one of these. Because one of the things that we've found, so many different things, but one of them that was found is that actually uh, doesn't eliminate bacteria, but it gets rid of bacteria. Let's put it that way. And so all of our food goes on that. And then the idea too, even though we eat organically, we know or suspect at least that they are spraying even organic grains, they're spraying it with glyphosate to dry them at the end after harvest. So they're not grown, they're organically grown, but then afterwards they might very well be putting glyphosate on it, Roundup. And the thing about all of those chemicals, pesticides, and that type of thing is they're all well, a lot of them are based on oil, petroleum based, and petroleum is a hydrocarbon, and so it has water in it. And so we believe that that will affect the water content of those things and make it less harmful. So one of the things we do is we put all of our food onto one of these. We put it when we use them on our dinner table as well. We put our food on them. Um, and and we use them in the refrigerator as well. And what it does there is extends the shelf life quite considerably. So one of the examples that I like to use is cilantro, or as they call it, coriander. In Europe, they call it coriander, but we call it cilantro. And one of the things that well, cilantro, people either love it or they hate it. It's one or the other. But I love it. And one of the things is that the cilantro usually will turn into like a brown mush. And within 3 or 4 days after you buy it, it's useless. It's gross. And one of the things that we found is sitting on top of one of these in a refrigerator, a bag of cilantro lasted for 3 weeks, and it was
Mm.
still quite edible. Some of it started drying out a little bit, but about 80% of it was still perfectly good to use. Another example is the last time I went traveling, I went to Ireland. I was gone for 5 weeks, and we had a bottle of cream before I left. Only I was using the cream, and it was unopened, and it was in the back of the fridge. And then when I got back, I got back in the evening, and then the next morning I woke up and I wanted to have a coffee, and I thought, oh, I don't have any cream. And then I looked in the fridge. I think maybe I'll use butter. And then I saw that bottle of cream in the back of the fridge. Been there for 5 weeks. And I went, no, let's see. So I opened it up and it was like it had just been bottled that day. And I used the whole bottle and it didn't go off even after 5 weeks. So we know that it extends the shelf life of perishables. So that's another way that it can be used. Also, we found that it relieves pain in the body. And so, especially for soft tissue, for bones, it's a little bit tougher, but soft tissue, definitely. So, excuse me, put it anywhere where you have a pain, even a headache. Even a headache, it'll help with a headache. Or for women, menstrual cramping and that type of thing, it helps quite a bit. And so any of those types of pains, stomach aches, it prevents bruising. So if you get a blow, you can put it on and it will help it to not bruise and ease the swelling as well. So that's, excuse me, excuse me. That's another way that that can be used. And so So what I do is I always have one of these in my pocket, and the idea is one is I'm perishable, so it's going to extend my shelf life. But also if I'm out and about and I go for a coffee or something like that, and you get some pretty rough coffee in some places. So when you put your coffee cup on top of one of these, it takes the bitterness out of the coffee and it makes it much, much smoother and improves the taste of it. And you can also, if you water, all of our water goes onto one of these as well. And even though we filter our water and we have distillers in as well, even after filtration, we put them on top of the aquify because it improves the taste and texture of the water. And then also for wine, for those who like wine, especially red wine, it can have an astringent taste to it. And so what we found is putting a bottle of wine or a glass of wine on top of an aquafy. It makes it much smoother. And I like to say that it makes cheap wine taste like vintage wine. Might be a bit of an exaggeration, but it definitely takes the astringency out of wine and improves the taste of it. Um, so that those are the ways that some of the ways that we use them. It was also discovered by somebody who works in a laboratory and works on eliminating mold and bacteria in building materials. And it was reported to me that he had bought some Aquafy and he had taken them into his laboratory and he had to actually remove them because it was killing all of the bacteria in this laboratory. So he couldn't do his experiments anymore. And so I was trying to think of a way of testing that for myself. And the best way I could think of is that when we sweat, and we all know the smell of, somebody who's been working out or something and is kind of sweaty and has that pungent smell to it. And what that is it's a bacteria that actually eat the sweat. And that's what the smell is the bacteria after eating the sweat, they are gassing off. It's like they're passing gas essentially. And so one of the things that I did was I took one of these and I put it onto my armpit. And when I was a little bit strong smelling, and the smell went away. So that is very indicative that that it eliminates the bacteria as well. And I think that that's probably why it extends the shelf life of things, partly because it's affecting the water structure of it, but also it's affecting the bacteria so the bacteria can't reproduce and destroy it. And one little corollary to that is I mentioned that it was discovered these reduce pain in the body. And so we've been using them like that for years, but they are quite rigid and they're just not very comfortable for, if you have it on a shoulder or something like that, it doesn't really conform. And also, if they bend too many times, they'll crack. And when they crack and break, then they won't work anymore.